Yo, what it do, everyone? Welcome to Homie Connect Podcast, episode 27. Man, that is 27 episodes in. We are joined once again by some amazing homies joining us for, well, at least one's joining us for the second time. Prime's been on multiple times.
Ooh.
That is
Champ's
Champ.
here. Champ's here.
Champ, yeah, like I
Okay.
said, Champ, right? So I think from now on we got to refer to you as Champ. Can't call you Prime. It's Champ until
No. You call me Prime, but you call me Champ Prime, Champ,
Champ
whatever
Prime.
it is.
Prime the Champ, yeah. The Prime Champ.
Yeah, whatever, brother.
So we got Ceez in the house as always.
Yes, sir.
We got Prime the Champ.
Two-time champ.
Ooh, 2 times. Say it with your chest, Prime. And then we got Mr. Brentwood himself making his second appearance in the Homie Connect podcast. Hopefully, it is not the last time we'll see him. But he's a popular man. He's got a lot of commitments. So we'll take him when we can get him. So let's start with Brentwood. Brentwood, what you got going on? How was your week, man? It's Friday.
It's good. Coming back on the Vegas trip, came back early Monday morning, had a great time. Got to watch all the football games. Had some great meals, great company. Can't ask for much more.
There you go.
There
Okay.
you go. All right. Prime, Mr. Champ. How was your week,
same
man?
here. Week's been good. Got in Monday morning. Back from Vegas. Had a great time.
Bolos. Bolos.
We didn't really drink that much. We just had a good time, man. We had
Cheers.
to drink
Oh, wow.
minimum drinks
Okay.
in the establishment we were at, but in general, we had a good time. We put some money on the line and we lost, but we won some. So, yeah.
Just
It
watching.
was great.
Yeah, I saw you guys were at the pool with the big ass screen and shit. What's it called?
Swim.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a must.
you might have heard of it.
Highly recommend.
But was it cloudy? No, it was cloudy and shit. Go.
No, it was sunny, but when that wind hit you, it was cold.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
I highly recommend it, but not in the winter.
Yeah, bundle up. Bundle up.
Yeah, but it was cool. Hey, it was perfect.
That's
Yeah.
dope. That's dope.
Yeah. Try not to do it for playoff football.
Again,
Maybe
if
mid-season
you just
football.
know what I got a tan because it's
Yeah.
still sunny. It's just a little cold out there.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
you just got to bundle up. We knew what we were getting into, so
Okay.
we dressed for the occasion. It was dope.
There you
Okay.
go.
I'll do it again.
There you go. So if you guys need some more info, just hit up these two homies. They got the 411 on the most recent visit, so they'll hook you up. All right, Ceez, what you got, man? What you got for us? How was your week?
Man, the week was chill. Working from home because of the fires over here in LA. Just chilling, man. Just taking care of the family and just chilling, man. That's it.
Do you normally
Nothing major.
work from home?
Yeah, no, I do. I work from home Mondays and Fridays. But Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I head into the office in LA. But
Segundo?
no, over there, Chevy Hills Park, Rancho Park area.
Pico and Motor.
Pico Motor, yep, right there.
Mhm.
Fox Studios.
What is that, like an hour drive?
Like an hour and a half almost. Yeah. But yeah, bro. So this week I stayed home, work from home, loving it. Waking up late, like just waking up, rolling out of bed, and just typing in my password, and I shouldn't get to work.
All right.
What about you, Sergio? How's your week, man?
My week was all right, dude. It's always busy.
You had a
As you can
birthday,
see,
right?
I did. I had my daughter's birthday on Saturday, and I think I got sick on Sunday because we had like 12, 8, and 9-year-olds running around the house. Little petri dishes running around the house. So I think I caught something. So Sunday, Monday, I was kind of feeling shitty. Tuesday, I took it off because I was just sick. But other than that, man, it's a normal week for us. Like I said, practice for my daughter. Literally have practice today. I'm still rocking my hat. Like literally got home, didn't change. That's why I told you guys later today because I was like, we got a all-day tournament tomorrow, so I know we're gonna stay at practice a little later today.
Softball,
So
right?
yeah, softball. So my little one is
local?
official. Yeah. My little one is turned 9. On Wednesday she plays in the 10U. So then we have an all day tournament tomorrow. Hopefully it's all day, at least for them. It's basically a a double elimination round robin. So, we're hoping we go all the way to the end. If not, if we lose twice, then that means we're going home early. We're hosting it though, so we can't leave as far as the coaches are concerned. So then, like, we're taking 2 cars. So if she does get eliminated, then she doesn't have to hang out the whole time. My wife will bring her back home, but I'll still have to be there. But yeah, man. Other than that, it's been good, dude. Like I said, I have no life. My weekdays, once you start putting kids in activities, dude, and then you make the mistake of joining to coach, like you got no life. You got no life.
Yeah, but you're making memories. Making memories out there on the softball field.
Listen, I kid about the whole it's crazy coaching, but like I love it. Whatever it is. I've been doing it since I was young, and I said I would never coach my kids, but I got to be honest. I'm glad that I'm doing it. And it gives me a good chance to like bond with my little one because it's just a her and me thing. Just kind of the way schedules work out. I'm the one that takes her to practice and we come back, so it's just like it's a her and I thing. So that's kind of cool. And I being that it's club, we expect her to do it for a long time. So definitely build some memories there. But yeah, man. Like I said, it's been good. Same old for me. So yeah, with that said, guys, cheers, salud. I got my my beer here. See, you look like you're drinking some Jack and Coke.
Yes, sir.
Classic.
All right. So before we move any further, unlike Instagram and Facebook, we have not gotten. Well, no, we have not gotten rid of our fact checkers. We still have our fact checkers employed apparently, and I was fact checked on one of our last episodes. So I wanted to make sure we cleared the air in case it's ever watched by that people affected by that information. But we do not indeed get Christmas cards from Big Dog. I thought we did. We have never gotten Christmas cards from Big Dog. So I don't know where
I got yours, Brent.
Huh?
I got yours, Brent.
Like recently, or you had previously received it?
No, I got yours, the newest one.
No, but like
before Christmas?
Or before Christmas, yeah.
Okay.
My mom put it up on her album.
Oh,
there you go.
That's great.
There you go.
I trust the postal service again.
So yeah, like I said, I did indeed.
And did you two? Because you asked me about the cat last time, Lefty, and Leo, you got mine as well.
Yeah, I got it. Yep.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Send one this year too. All right, man. I'm expecting one.
Yeah, for sure.
But Big Dog has not. I repeat.
I don't know how I pulled that shit out of my ass. Has not. I pulled that shit out of my ass apparently. And the other one is
once though.
Right? I mean, I remember something, bro. But I got really shitty memory. It could have been.
Leo went to his wedding, right?
Yeah, me and Serge went to his wedding.
Yeah, I remember. I was in law school, I think.
Yep.
It was sometime between 2013 and 2016.
Yeah, over there in Central California somewhere.
Yeah. So I don't know what I did there. And then his daughters are nowhere near the ages that I said, apparently. I fucked that one up, too. Apparently, I think one is in third and the other one's in kinder, and I was way off. So my apologies to Big Dog if he ever watches this. I screwed the pooch on that one, Big Dog. So like I said, if I say something wrong, best believe that my fact checker, a.k.a. my wife, will catch it. So yeah. We still have our fact checkers here on this program.
Okay.
We didn't take the Zuckerberg route. Now, speaking of, you mentioned it earlier, Ceez, you work from home because of it. We didn't get a chance to talk about it on the previous episode, but how's everyone doing with the fires, man? How's that air out there? Fires are a big thing right now, unfortunately, in Cali, in my hometown, and where the rest of the homies, reside. So, Brent, has that affected you at all in any way, shape, or form, man?
Probably about 4 miles east of the Eaton fire.
Mm-hmm.
We live on like this end of the San Gabriel Valley, so you can see it pretty closely. But I mean, the worst of it has definitely passed. Like the air quality's back to normal. There's no ashes on the cars in the morning anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like they're taking care of business. They're doing the best they
Okay.
can. It sounds like the whole city is kind of in rebuild mode already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to the Clippers game on Wednesday, and there was a lot of like those shirts, those LA Strong shirts that each
Yeah.
professional sports team has their own version of.
Yeah.
They were into those in warm up. So I mean, there's definitely a lot of visibility about it. Oh, when we went to dinner, when we went to Benihana's on a Sunday night, we told people we were from LA. They're like, "Oh my god, like the whole city's burning," So it's
Mm.
interesting to hear what I guess the national news reports on it and what the
Right.
portrayal of it is, as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to
Mm-hmm.
what local news say. Because they make it. I
Yeah.
guess the national news makes it sounds like the entire city
Yeah.
Right.
is on
Yeah.
Like
fire.
crypto was burning down.
Yeah, they make it sound
Yeah.
like City Hall itself was in like ashes, which
Yeah.
luckily was not the case.
Yeah.
But yeah, this woman, she was from Seattle. We told we were from LA. She's like, "Oh my god, like it's so crazy what's happening there," and it is not to minimize it, but
Right. Right.
I
Right.
think
Right.
I think the scope of the situation. If you've never been to LA, I don't think you understand the physical dimensions of it.
Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
mean, literally, from me to Pacific Palisades is probably uh,
An hour
50
and
miles.
yeah.
I think we're closer to Pacific Palisades than
Oh
Yeah,
you
yeah.
are.
if you
We.
go up
Yeah.
along the coast, that's probably
Yeah.
about 25 miles anyway. So again, not to minimize it, but I think the interesting part is the local portrayal, because you're like, oh, well, you're Pacific Palisades, like, okay, like that's never gonna get over here,
Yeah.
versus the
Yeah.
national. They're like, oh, the whole city is just
Yeah.
aflame.
Lady was ready to welcome her into
Yeah,
her
she was
home.
about to host us in her hotel room if we
I'm
saw
Yeah.
about to
her
say she was about to
evacuees.
pay for your dinner. You know. Look
Uh,
at me. I took in these two little Latinos. You know, ain't got no homes.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. No,
I
and
love it.
I agree with Brent because we got a call from my girl's sister in Mexico. She's like, "Are you guys okay?"
Yeah.
And like, yeah, yeah, we're okay. We're like, this shit's spread out. Don't worry about it. Like, we're good and shit.
Mm-hmm.
But like, yeah, like Brent said, like, it's not to minimize it, but yeah, people think like, yeah, the whole LA is burning. Like, no, it's just that little section over there, and the eating fire too. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
sucks, but you know,
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's the biggest thing, right? Is that like for the I guess in both ways. Like some people don't understand how big it is,
mm-hmm.
but then the ones that think it's big think it's like, oh shit, all of LA is gone. Like
Yeah.
no, LA is a pretty big fucking town, and when they mention LA County, like it incorporates a lot, right? So like
Yeah,
out here in Arizona, I've kind of had to explain it to people like in terms of the cities out here because we got a lot of little cities out here, and so like one of the biggest cities out here aside from Phoenix would be like the city of Gilbert, and so I like to compare it, be like, all right guys, it's like a little bit more. The Pacific Palisades fire is like a little bit more than half the whole city of Gilbert, like to put it into context for them, right? To say like that's how big it is, in terms of Pacific Palisades fire, to kind of give them that reality of it. Now, it is a big thing in the sense of like shit, almost all of Pacific Palisades is gone, pretty much. Like so when you think of like a city in LA, you're not talking about a small little city. So for like that shit to be gone, like that's a pretty massive fire.
Yeah.
And
Um,
Altadena.
And I'll
that's what I was gonna say, and then Altadena, like that got
Altadena got
wrecked.
devastated. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Do you guys, any of you guys have friends or family that or anyone that lost their homes or anything like
Yeah.
that?
A cousin's cousin
Yeah.
mm.
lost his home in Palisades.
Yeah, a
Mm.
Oh,
coworker's
Uh,
okay,
sister.
yeah. Yeah.
Coworker's
yeah,
sister lost her home in the Palisades as well.
Your
And
mm.
sister?
her
Co-workers,
sister, coworker's
Oh,
sister.
okay,
co-workers,
got it. I missed that. Sorry.
And then if you guys know who Bill Plaschke is, the
the
writer
sports
for the
writer.
LA Times,
Yeah.
he had an interesting take on it that he lived in Altadena, and in his cul-de-sac there were
Hmm.
10 houses, and his house was the only one that didn't burn down.
Oh,
Mm.
So he talks about in the article how obviously it's a different type of loss, but you have a survivor's guilt.
Yep.
Like,
mm-hmm.
why did my
I've
house
heard
get
that. I've been
why
hearing
did
that.
my house get spared? Why did my house get saved? Like, it
Hmm.
doesn't seem fair that my house is still standing while literally, like my favorite breakfast place, like my little corner store, my neighbors, You know,
Right.
because when he drove back up there, he's like, "Well, I just expected to see like rubble, just like I'd seen everywhere, but no,
Mm-hmm.
my house was still standing." And
Yeah.
it felt like a miracle. But that doesn't mean if you still live there, what is it? You're just going to deal with like construction for the next like 5 years? Are you just not going to have any neighbors? Like, what's that? What is living there in your house that survived going to be like? And I just thought his
Mm-hmm.
article brought an interesting perspective on just because your house survives doesn't mean that your life is going to go back to the way it was anytime soon.
Right. And you're gonna remember it every time you literally step outside,
Yeah,
right? Because every time you step outside, your neighborhood's gone.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, that's a shitty component. Yeah, I have an old coworker who her daughter's school burnt down. I'm like, damn, that sucks. So like, what are you gonna do about like you didn't lose your house, but you lost your kid's school. Like that's crazy to me. Like the people whose high schools burnt down. Like you're talking about seniors, like this year, like their high school burned down. Like that's pretty fucking sad. It's one thing to think like, oh, like COVID impacted those kids, but like they still got their classes. Like
Mhm.
here, like their schools are gone, bro. Like you know, like what's the solution there, right? And then I have another former coworker who lost his house. And I don't know, Caesar, you might remember him. He worked with us at
Windswipe, yeah, Harold.
yeah, Harold. Yeah,
Uh,
Harold lost his house, man. Yeah,
mm-hmm.
Harold lost his
Wow.
house. Yeah, that sucks, dude. We're a super cool guy, man, and
Yeah.
yeah,
In
he lost
Altadena
his
or
house.
Palisades?
Out to,
Altadena.
yeah.
Yeah, Altadena. Yeah, dude, he lost his house, and I hit him up. I texted him first because there was a GoFundMe that was on his page, but I was like, I heard of a lot of scams right now, so I just kind of texted him and I was like, hey man, like I hope I hope you tell me that it's fake. I'd rather you tell me that it's fake because that means your house is okay. But no, unfortunately, it wasn't. It's legit, and his house did burn down. So that really sucks, man. But yeah, it sucks, man. And like I said, my heart goes out to everyone who's been affected by that, and especially shout out to the firefighters, dude, who lost their homes and had to go out and fight the fires. Like that's pretty crazy, dude. That's for sure putting yourself in the forefront. So much love to everyone. Hopefully, people can recover quickly. I know that they're dealing with a lot. From what I've read, it's going to take about 10 years for Palisades to fully recover. Uh, on the low end, is from what I've
Mm-hmm.
read that it'll take them about 10 years. Um, I did hear some interesting takes that as far as why some houses burned and why some didn't. Specifically, also in like Pacific Palisades, is because most of the houses that didn't burn down is because they were either like knocked down and rebuilt or
Yeah.
whatever, or it was an empty lot. And basically, anything after 2010 had different fire codes that they had to be built under. And as a result, like those are the ones that are standing. Like, in fact, there's like a shopping center across one of the other like historic shopping centers that they had at Pacific Palisades. Like the one that was historic burned, the one across the street that was built after like on 2010 or after 2010, like that shit is standing. Um, so that's crazy to me. Um, we didn't have Charlie here to kind of talk about some conspiracy theories. Unfortunately, that would have been kind of nice. But do you think they're going to figure out what happened, or have you heard any possible causes to the fires?
I don't think they'll figure out who or who to blame because the story is that supposedly there was a fireworks fire up there by Palisades Hill or something like that, but that was like
Yep.
New Year's Day, and supposedly the residents are like, "Oh, we think that fire wasn't put out properly, and the winds came and blew it back up." But I mean, who knows? It could have been the fire. So somebody else threw another fire. Well, who knows, man? Like,
Yeah, I don't think
but
we're
I
gonna
don't
get
think
like a
I don't.
definite answer.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
But it does.
Right. Sorry, what were you
It
saying?
seems like the Palisades fire was man made, and they're saying that the Eaton fire was very likely related to a power
The
line
power lines, yeah.
that was taken down by the wind and kind of sparked, and it went from there.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
There's
Yeah.
videos about that too, so yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad you touched on that, Caesar, because, well, actually, both Brent and Caesar, because I did hear the fireworks thing, and the fireworks thing was like, well, no, it couldn't be because it was like a day or two after that the fire started, but the crazy part was I heard an interview about that, which was they were saying that because the conditions have been so dry that like they could have put out the fire. Like
Mm-hmm.
whoever was doing the fireworks could have legitly put out, like let's say a brush caught on fire and they turned it off, or at least they thought they did. Like apparently the roots of the bushes and everything else can still be smoldering underneath the ground.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So like a fire to start 2 to 3 days later is not out of the norm when the ground is so dry. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh shit, that's crazy. Like I never thought about that. And that's kind of why they tell you, like, when you put out the fire, right? Like Smokey the Bear fucking tells you if you got a campfire, like, yo, put some water on it, stir that shit, put some more water on it, and then throw some dirt on it.
Yeah.
Because then that way you're kind of just suffocating it. Even if something underneath, even if it goes down to the roots, it's still smoldering. It won't matter. And I was like, oh, that's why they fucking tell you that. And yeah, the Eden fire. I don't know if you heard, but like there's a lawsuit already going on
Yeah.
against Edison.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be lots of lawsuits.
Yeah, but this one, that well, at least this specific one was because like people were calling like, hey, the power line is down. Cut the electricity, or hey, like people are calling about issues, and apparently Edison didn't do shit about it. And the time of the calls and the power line data like adds up to like close to the time of the fires starting in the Eden fire. I was like, man, that is some shit right there. And I don't think this is the first time Edison's gotten sued for starting fires, is it? Or at least fined?
No, I mean the problem is it's obviously there's only so much you can do, but the problem is they have paid before, but then
Yeah.
they just pass those prices on to the consumer.
That's true.
I
That's
think
true.
he got sued up north. I think
Yeah,
there was a fire up
Fireman's
north.
Paradise fire, I think.
Yeah, there you go.
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah. Now, before we move on, the last take I'll give you guys is all the misinformation or all the information, whatever you want to call it, right? Like, um, would you guys agree that it's like I know you guys heard it. They were like, "Oh, there was no water pressure. Oh, there was no water. There was no this." Like, um, the infrastructure, the whatever. Would you say that this was avoidable or it wasn't avoidable?
I think to like a certain extent, like as they say, Mother Nature's undefeated. So I think it just regrettably seems to be like a perfect storm of temperature and wind, and
Mm-hmm.
people
Mm-hmm.
complain like, oh, there was a reservoir that was empty. Like it's the middle of winter. Like when do you
Mm-hmm.
expect people to do maintenance on these reservoirs if not the middle of winter? Like who would have foreseen that in January, early January,
Mm-hmm.
the conditions
Right.
for a firestorm would line up? So I think it's like it's human nature to want to find people accountable, and uh, no one wants to say as well. Maybe you shouldn't. Like it's a bigger question. Like, are they going to rebuild in that same area? Like, is
Mm-hmm.
it fiscally responsible to build another 1,000 houses in Altadena and Pacific Palisades, knowing that this danger exists? You
Yeah.
know, so I
Right.
mean, I think at a certain level, like yes, is it avoidable, but again, like we're not going to tame Mother Nature.
Right.
If Mother Nature's gonna, they don't really care about the human suffering in that sense. So obviously, I'm
Yeah.
sure there's some things that we could have done better, but if you're talking about 90-mile-per-hour winds, you can't get
Right.
helicopters up in the air. You can't
Facts.
get like
Yep.
fire
Mm-hmm.
retardant aircraft up in the air. Like you're not,
Mm-hmm.
it's not going to go very well.
Hey, and based on the LA Los Angeles Fire Department captain, I forgot the captain's name. It's a female. She's blaming the mayor. Blaming the mayor for not giving her funds and maybe not supporting the fire department and their fire hydrants or the DWP and their water that they need. But yeah, it's gonna be crazy. Like once the investigation starts and everything comes out, like what the mayor did and what she didn't do, and what the fire department needed and what they didn't have.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's that's why we need the captain on here so he could talk about this. We need
Exactly.
we need facts, and I'm pretty sure he has them.
Well, and here's the thing that like I from what I've gathered so far, going back to Brent's point, is there's a certain element that Mother Nature played in this, that like there's nothing you could have done to like overcome 90 to 100 mile an hour winds, or at least 90 to 100 mile an hour gust. Like you just can't overcome that, and based on some of the videos, dude, like literally the palm trees were like the worst thing you could have, because the palm trees were just like dropping embers everywhere and the embers were flying, right? But like one of the things that I took, like, that really stood out to me was they were talking to a fire chief, and he was like, you know, that there's things that do need to be addressed, right? And there's things that are going to come out and that may paint some people in a bad light, and maybe that's a good thing because it's holding some people accountable. That'll hopefully change things in the future. But what he said that stood out to me is like, look, like for every structure fire that you have, it takes about four engines, right? 4 fire engines, or 4 units, whatever you want to call it. And he's like, now look at everything that's burned. He's like, I think at that point he had said, right, like
it was too much.
Yeah, I think it was like at that point, right, 10,000 structures have burned, and he was like, if you're doing the math, that's like 40,000 fire engines. Like we don't have that in the state. He's like, I'm pretty sure, let alone we don't have 40,000 working fire engines in the nation.
Yeah.
He's like, so it's one of those where it's like Brent said, it was the perfect storm. Like there was nothing that, like, you could have tried to have everything else in place, but it wasn't, like, because of the conditions, it just wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
And I thought that was interesting. But yeah, I think some heads are going to roll, because there is some things that, like, again, wouldn't have prevented the fire. I think that's clear for people with common sense. But there is certain things that's like, why were certain things held up, or why weren't certain things done sooner,
or better prepared. Like I think residents wanted to be better prepared, and I think they felt like the city wasn't prepared for this, and that's why they want to blame. They want to blame, of course, the mayor, the governor, and I mean, once you lose everything, yeah, you're gonna seek out blame. You're gonna blame somebody. You want to blame somebody.
Well, but based on how everything is built in Pacific Palisades, like, you can't have traditional infrastructure for fire hydrants and everything else like you do
in the city.
In the city. And so everything is dependent on those tanks, but those tanks were never made to handle the whole fucking city burning. Like, so, and then if you say, hey, let's fix it, what does that mean, right? That means that, like, it's going to cost money. And when it's going to cost that much money, and some of it may have to be passed down to the residents, what are the residents going to say? They're not going to be like, yeah, do it. No, they're going to be like, no, fuck that. You ask them now, they're going to be like, yeah, do it. It's one of those where it's like, after the fact, yeah. But, like, again, the perfect storm, right? It's burning in a place that the infrastructure can only be a certain way because you're literally building on hills. So it can't be the same as in the city. And that, then you had the 90 mile an hour winds. It just, it was going to be bad, And so, unfortunately, like I said, hopefully it never happens again like this. Thoughts and prayers to those who have lost their homes or just been affected by it in general. That really sucks, man. And my condolences to those who actually lost people. I know some people have lost, I don't know any personally, but people actually passed away in this fire. So my condolences to those people, hopefully their families will do well, and hopefully they can find closure soon. And so another thing that was affected by the fires that'll kind of segue us into our next topic is the Rams moved out here to Arizona to play the Vikings for their playoff game as a result of the fire. And in fact, I completely forgot about them being there, and I took the wrong way because the stadium's actually on my way home. So it took me about almost 2 hours to get home that day, and I was like, fuck, I completely forgot about this game.
We were talking about it in the group chat, man, that you could have gone for like probably
$5.
No, hold on. I thought about not even going to practice because my wife at the last minute found $90 tickets.
Oh, okay.
I'm surprised they were that much, honestly. Like 90 for like all 4 of you?
No, it was 90 each. But, bro, I drove by it. It was packed.
Wow.
It was
I'm very
packed.
surprised they were that expensive.
Yeah, it was packed. I was like, holy shit. I mean, they could have dropped even cheaper, but I think at that point she stopped because I was like, babe, we're not going. Like, I got to go to practice. Ellie's got an upcoming tournament. Like, we're not going. But yeah, so they moved. They moved the game. The game was at State Farm Stadium, right? Ironically enough, right? Ironically enough, State Farm's been making the rounds in the news because they canceled some insurances based on the fire or pulled the fire, insurance part of it, and so there's controversy there. And then
I don't know if you saw the sign inside the stadium where it usually says State Farm. It said something else. I'll try to find it, but yeah, it didn't say State Farm. I was like, oh, okay, State Farm truck. What the hell? Stupid.
I will say
they're not going to run an ad during the Super Bowl this year now.
Yeah, they're not.
Yeah,
nope.
They're going to focus their money on. I will say, shout out to the Cardinals. I'm not a Cardinals fan. I do live in Arizona, but I'm not a Cardinals fan. But for the way they really set up the Rams and their families, man, that was pretty dope. Flying them out there, flying their families out there, their pets out here, it was pretty cool. But let's jump into Wild Card Weekend, starting with this game since we're segued into it. Brent, lead us off, man. You took the under.
I had a very good feeling that Sam Darnold was going to revert back to the way he'd been every season except for this one, basically. And to me, the turning point, I was actually able to watch this game. The turning point to me was when they strip sacked Stafford and they scored on the defense, and then they went back and ruled that he was an incomplete pass.
Oh yeah.
Like that changed everything.
Where like they thought Puka Nakua was in the area.
Yeah.
And that was bad.
And then after that,
he actually did flip it though.
He did, but I'm hoping that's gonna be a rule change because he was throwing that shit away.
To think that was like an actual pass.
Yeah, pass. Yeah. I'm hoping there's a rule change after that because that definitely took away from the Vikings for sure.
Yeah, so I mean, definitely, it played out as much as I expected. He got sacked a bunch. He held on to the ball too long.
Too long.
The second half, it seemed like they kind of threw in the towel. Like they weren't really moving with any kind of, they weren't very quick to the line. They were still taking a lot of time off the play clock, even though they really didn't have any time. There was no sense of urgency. And so, I think they were just trying to keep the score somewhat presentable. But yeah, I mean, that kind of unfolded the way I expected it to. I don't think Minnesota really recovered from the Detroit beatdown. You go from potentially hosting all the playoff games to going on the road against the Super Bowl winning quarterback and coach. It was gonna be an uphill battle regardless, and it played out honestly just kind of the way I expected it to. I think I nailed that one. I think I got Rams and the under.
You took Rams and the under, and you are correct.
Yeah.
The over under was 48 or 47 and a half. It looks like it finished at 47 and a half. But yeah, you took the under, so you were right on that one. Brent. Prime, tell us about this game, man. You did take the Rams, just so you know. So you got that one right.
Yeah, I took the Rams. I knew they were going to win. That defense, man. That defense is one of the youngest defenses in the NFL, and they're balling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Boy, Verse and Fisk. Mm-hmm. Good players. And yeah, it was a good game. I watched it on my phone here at work. I was coming down from the Vegas trip, so yeah.
That's how the dads have to watch the game.
Yeah. So I watched it on my phone. But yeah, Rams did their job, so and I'm happy that the Rams beat the Vikings for sure.
All right. Ceez, you screwed the pooch on this one. You took the Vikings, and you predicted a score of 30-20, which would have put the over.
Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold. That's it, man. Sam Darnold. Just throw the ball. Like he held onto it too much. You could tell. Like even the announcers, like, oh, he's holding onto it too long,
Hmm.
and boom, sack, strip sack. I do agree with Brett though. When what's the name Stafford tried to flick that pass off, that definitely should have been a fumble, scored touchdown. It would have been a different game, a more competitive game, I think. But nah, it was fucking. The Rams do got a good defense. They got a young defense. Their defensive line is good. But I mean, it was. I think the player that the Vikings needed better was Sam Darnold. I thought he was gonna be better because the wild card weekend game where no was it no the
It
last game
was
of the
last
season.
game of the season.
Yeah,
against the Lions.
yeah, when he had Justin Jefferson opening many times, he
Oh,
overthrew him. It's like,
Hmm.
dude, you just need to, get that touch in. And I thought this game or the last game versus the Rams, he was gonna have that touch, but he just held on to the ball too much, man. It's like but it's Sam Darnold, so you move on.
what I thought was interesting is Troy Aikman made a comment during the game. He's like, "Well, this was a wasted season for them. It sucks that they
Hmm.
lost 3 games.
Yeah,
They
yep.
went
Yeah.
14-3.
Yeah.
And then it all that's tough. Like, I think they overachieved from what their initial expectation was when McCarthy got hurt,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
then he was replaced by Darnold. I think they probably felt like this was going to be another 500 or so season, maybe 9-8, 10 and
Yeah,
7 if they got lucky. But no, I mean they were the story of the NFL season for the most part, or the whole NFC North was.
yeah,
Between
Hmm.
Detroit, the Vikings, and the Lion, and the
Hmm.
Packers. But
Yeah.
now, because now 2 weeks ago I was like, oh, Sam's going to get a huge deal.
yeah,
Minnesota
Oof.
would be silly to get rid of him. Like JJ
Hmm.
McCarthy, he's a rookie. He also had a setback during surgery.
Hmm.
And now what a fickle world we live in. Where now, literally 2 weeks later, it's like, oh, get this freaking bum off my TV.
Mhm.
Like through
Yeah.
two really bad picks to really bad sacks.
Yeah.
So which one is the real Sam Darnold? Like is it
You
weeks
saw
one
him.
through
You saw
16,
him on Monday. No,
or is
you
it
saw him
weeks
on Monday.
17 of the playoffs? So
Yeah.
You saw him
food
on
food for
Monday.
thought. I don't think there's a right or a wrong answer, but they definitely have a lot more to think about now than they did 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give myself my flowers because I called this. I said Sam Darnold was going to be the Sam Darnold that I knew he was. Um, I didn't. I never bought into the Vikings hype.
Hmm.
And only because one, they weren't expected to do anything, but because of Sam Darnold. Like Sam Darnold doesn't elevate the team. You know what I'm saying? Like he doesn't elevate a team. He's not one of the top 5 quarterbacks that elevates your team, right? Like doesn't matter who you have around you. When you have a franchise quarterback, he's your franchise quarterback because he elevates the team when they don't have any talent, right? Or when they're devoid of some talent or devoid of some talent. Like I maybe it's because I saw him in the AFC East for so many years. I was like, oh yeah, this fucking Sam Darnold sucks. Like don't be fooled, right? And
Yeah.
I'm pretty positive I said it in our last podcast. I was like, I don't like Sam Darnold. I don't think they're gonna win. I took the Rams. I did take the over, so I was wrong on that one. But again, I was not sold on Sam Darnold. Um, and he turned into a pumpkin a week before the playoffs started, and they rolled him out there as a pumpkin again, and he literally played like it. So I mean,
Yeah.
there's a couple of quarterbacks that I was not sold on, and I was I was right. We'll touch base on those games too. But like with Sam Darnold, I couldn't understand. Like I get it, they won that many games. It was going to be a good game. That defense was sick um, for Minnesota, but again, it was Sam Darnold. I didn't think he was going to take him far. And while I do agree with you and Brent that that play that should have been not counted as a pass. It did affect the game a little, but like I still think the Vikings lose. Like that
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah,
change anything. Like it just means that like they don't lose as bad, but Sam Darnold would still Sam Darnold, and to me, like you, even knowing that that's what the game was going to be, that before the fire started or whatever, like I just knew that once the fire started and then the Rams had to move, I was like, oh, bro, they're not losing this game. They're not losing this game. I was like, it's just one of those games where, like, the adversity that they're facing is going to cost you to get your ass whooped. Like when New Orleans won because, they at the same time they dealt with, Katrina?
Yeah,
You knew
hurricane.
that was going to happen, right? When fucking Brett Favre obliterated, who was it, the Raiders, the day after his dad died or the day his dad died, like I remember talking to my friend about that shit. I was like, oh, dude, you guys are about to get obliterated. Like, Brett Favre is playing and his dad just died. I was like, oh, you guys are going to get like, there's certain things that happen to certain teams, certain crises that they have, and you're just like, oh, fuck. Yeah, you're not winning this game on emotion alone.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that only reinforced it for me. But, yeah, man, that was – I'm glad to see the Rams are still there. It would be nice if they upset the Eagles. That's who they're playing, right? The Eagles?
Yeah.
Yep.
So we'll talk about that one later on. But, yeah, man, kudos to the Rams. And I did like their shirts, their LAFD shirts. That was pretty dope. Those
Okay.
are pretty damn cool.
Yeah.
Moving on to the next game, man. The other game was Steelers-Ravens. Wasn't even close.
Yeah, that one got off to a real rough start. It was 14-0, and then 21-7, and then 28-7. Again, the scoreboard probably doesn't really indicate. The second half was obviously a lot better than the first half, but Lamar buying himself time in the pocket, no real pass rush to speak of. If you let Lamar have all that time, either he's going to run it or he's going to find somebody that's open, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Well, and obviously, Derrick Henry ran for 160,
86, 186, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, you're not gonna. And I think the Steelers had 30 yards rushing, something like that. Like there was a disparity of 260 yards.
Mm-hmm.
In the playoff where it's all about time possession, and shortening the game, you're not gonna win. You're not gonna win with those stats.
Yep. And on that one, just so you know, Brent, you took the Ravens, but you said that the Ravens would win by less than 10. So that one,
it was pretty
convincing. Right team. So you got that one right. Prime, thoughts on that
Steelers.
game?
Yeah, they didn't come to play, man. Horrible offense, man. I thought Russell was gonna, air it out, but no.
He aired it out too late.
It was just plain duck game. That's it, man. So I'm disappointed in Russell. He won't be a Steeler next year, that's for sure. He'll probably become the new Giants quarterback. Just disappointed in the Steelers. Ravens were too much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Ceez, what you got on that?
No, Judge, it's the same thing, man. Ravens were too much. The one player I didn't see that game is J.J. Watt, man. Like I was like, man, what's up with J.J. Watt? Like, Jesus, get a sack.
T.J. Watt.
Like this, or was it? Oh, T.J. Watt. Sorry.
T.J.
I mean, I was gonna say there's a reason you didn't see him.
Exactly. Sorry. The Watts, dude, I didn't see him show up.
It's just Lamar Jackson, man. He's slippery, man. That guy's. He's a slippery guy, man.
Looking towards the future, if the Steelers are really serious about contending, T.J. Watt is probably someone they should look to trade. He's going into the final year of his contract. Edge rushers get a bunch of money. You could probably get a first, maybe. Maybe a first and a third, maybe.
But they won't trade him. They won't trade him because when he's they need that staple player, like a Troy Palomua, they're not going to trade him. He's a Steeler for life.
That's what the argument has been. The Steelers never want to be bad, but if you're not bad, when are you ever going to get a franchise quarterback?
They've always been in the middle.
Yeah, you're stuck in mediocrity. Like,
You're
oh, you
stuck
got
in-
a winning, you got a winning
stuck in
season. Yeah, by
purgatory.
one.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, you won
but
by one.
Roethlisberger was in the top pick. He was like, I want to say top 15 maybe.
I think it's different now in that. So now what the Steelers pick what 21st?
Yeah.
What
Mm-hmm.
you know like is it these teams that are kind of just stuck in purgatory with like quarterbacks that are fine. You know, if look at their division. Their division has Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like how are you? You know, like Russ is like fine, but like he's literally going up against two MVP candidates 4 times a year.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Big
like
Ben was drafted pick 11,
yeah, but I mean that was 20 years ago, probably more.
2004.
Yeah.
You know, like that. It's been a long time since then. So I think that's the reality of the NFL. That if you don't have a quarterback, you don't have anything. And so, but the only way you're going to get a quarterback is by tanking or just selling off pieces to build for the future.
Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams to the Steelers. Mark.
He's stupid.
That would be more of the same. You know, like they're probably going to go 10-7
Yeah.
and lose in the first round to a better quarterback, like they have for the past. What was it, Josh Allen last year? Right? They lost to Buffalo in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
The year before that, they also lost in the first round to Patrick Mahomes. I think. You know, like you're just it's not fair. It's a knife to a gunfight, as they say. You know. So yeah,
And that's why I think that's why people are they're kind of calling for Tomlin to step down.
There you go. You jumped
'Cause
onto
they're
my
like,
next subject, you bastard.
they're like, yo, like like you said, they have a winning season by like the season is like what 9-8 and
Yeah,
shit. Like,
they barely go above. They
so-
barely go above 500.
and for them, I mean, it looks like it's a winning season, like 12 straight seasons, winning season, blah. But it's still not the Super Bowl.
yeah.
You
I
know,
mean, I think that kind of leads to a greater conversation. Like, okay, so before this season started, the Steelers were definitely picked to finish last in their division, right? Everybody
Mhm.
said they were going to. I think their Vegas over under was like 6.5 or 7.5. You know, so when you measure it against that, like, was this a successful season? Like, yes, they exceeded expectations, but is your measure of success always going to be a Super Bowl? You know, like if so, then 31 teams are disappointments every single year. you know.
I mean, technically, yeah, that
Or I
they
mean, look at it as a Niners fan. Like last year, you're playing for the Super Bowl. This year, you go what 6-11.
yeah, yeah,
You know, like is that like that's tough. Like nobody wants to get just kicked in the balls 11 times
of course
11
not,
times
yeah.
a season. You know, so I think it's really easy to say. Like I think there's a lot of teams that would trade consistent winning 10-7 seasons, winning seasons. Like so some teams, it feels like they never get that. You know,
The Giants,
the Giants,
Well,
like the
the
Cardinals,
Jets.
the Titans. You know, like
all right, but let me give you a different side of things. If you're constantly in the middle, it's different than to say, "Hey, we're in the middle because we've always had a stud quarterback, but we just can't build around him. But every time we have this quarterback, we have a chance to go to the Super Bowl. Like you can't really rule us out." In the times that they've had all this success of, hey, we had a winning season, when have they had a franchise quarterback? Like Prime said,
none.
well, they had
Not
Beth
since
Rock.
Ben.
Exactly. So
Mhm.
then what are you then why are you playing if you're not playing for the Super Bowl? Like, oh
But you
great,
can't
we made
like
it to the
you can't win the
playoffs.
Super Bowl if you don't make the playoffs.
Correct. You can't, but you're not gonna get there if you don't have your franchise quarterback. You see what I'm saying? Like
No,
you
I mean,
you have to go after your
totally understand,
franchise
but
quarterback.
okay. So even teams that tank, what's the hit rate on first round quarterbacks? Like 50%, if that. Probably more
I'm
like
not even
33%.
right, but I'm not even saying that you have like I'm not even saying that you have to tank to go get your quarterback, right? But what I'm saying is at a certain point in time you got to say, "All right, we're rebuilding," right? And we're not tanking to specifically go get a a quarterback, but we're going to rebuild, and as a result, we might end up picking lower in the draft, right? And so now we're going to build young talent, and we're going to have a lower cap hit because we're hoping to hit on these people, whether we find a stud defensive end, like you said. We might talk about getting rid of TJ Watt because now you can get value for him. Okay, great. We bring in someone. Hopefully we find a stud and he's on a rookie contract for the next 4 or 5 years. We find a solid DB who's on a rookie contract for the next, X amount of years, whatever. And in that time, you've got a couple of choices. You can hopefully you draft a little bit higher for whatever reason, and maybe you do get a quarterback in a good quarterback draft class or whatever. Or because you've got a good team on a rookie contract, there's a solid franchise quarterback that's actually pretty damn good, and now you've got the salary cap to say, hey, we can bring this guy in. We know he can get us to the Super Bowl. He's not going to be with us for the next 10 years, but he's going to be with us a good solid 4 years while we still have rookie contracts. Like, this works. But because you're not willing to go into that rebuilding phase, like you say, you're stuck in that purgatory.
Yeah. Right, but I think my argument is that there's a lot of teams that would that would be very happy with 10-7 and making the playoffs.
Yeah, of course. I think a lot of teams would take that. Like, yeah, but I think for the Pittsburgh Steelers, I think that the time is already. Like, we've been there, done that. It's time to move on, move up.
Right. But I think that's the thing. It's like, again, no one. I think everybody says they want to franchise quarterbacks don't grow on trees.
They don't. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to get one in a way other than the draft, like, just exceedingly challenging.
Right. No, I agree.
But I think for the owner of the Steelers, I honestly think he has to make a change because it's just getting repetitive season after season.
Well, I mean, this guy, apparently it came out that his last extension was for 3 years and $50 million, and he just signed that before the beginning of this season. So 2 more years on that, so he's not going to go anywhere.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
it's 2025 is going to look a lot like 2024.
But I know the Steelers have a lot of free agents. I know they have the 2 quarterbacks. I think the running backs are free agents also.
Najee Harris, his option year didn't get picked up, so
yeah. So, and I think the Warren
still trade Pickens.
Yeah,
because he's inconsistent, to put it politely.
Goodness. But yeah, man, we'll see. We'll see with the Steelers, man. Shoosh.
Yeah, that's interesting. I like Tomlin. I don't think they should get rid of Tomlin. I think they should change their philosophy for now and be okay with having a couple of losing seasons.
Yeah.
Again, I don't mean it because you're tanking for a quarterback. I'm just saying.
I think it may happen naturally where if they don't bring back Russ and they re-sign Fields to see what they have there, like that's going to be a 7-win team.
Do you should know what you get in Fields. A team should know what Fields provides. Everyone falls in love with his ability. True, but can he pass the ball? That's the question. Can he be consistent?
I think the Pittsburgh fans seem to think that Fields is the answer because he's younger and more mobile. It's like, all right, have at it. Go have a 7-10 season. Time will tell.
Yeah. I'll give them credit, though. I thought their shit was going to go off the rails when they brought in Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
I was like, listen, I get it's Justin Fields, and I don't trust him as far as I can throw him. But he's doing well, and you're bringing in Russell Wilson. I was like, ooh, you're making, this is going to be bad. I was wrong. They maintained, and they got to the playoffs. So they didn't fuck that one up. It's Russell Wilson, so I wouldn't expect him to do anything on that one. Just so to kind of go back right quick on something Prime said, the Steelers drafted Ben Roethlisberger at 11. It just happened to be one of those things where I don't even know if he was technically rated as the 3rd best quarterback. I guess he might have. I don't even remember if it was considered one of those where he was a reach. But just so you guys know, in that draft, the 1st overall pick was Eli Manning.
Yeah, Eli Manning.
The second
Phillip
quarterback that
Rivers.
the second quarterback that was taken was Phillip Rivers by the Giants, and then no one after that took a quarterback until the Steelers. So that means it's like there was really no one else there for that.
And that's 3 Hall of Fame quarterbacks right there.
You know, and then the next quarterback that went was the homegrown talent of the Adam Sandler lookalike J.P. Lossman, who went over to the Buffalo Bills and flamed out pretty disastrously there. So yeah, that was one of those where, as you could see, there's no talent after Ben, right? And so if you're looking at in that 21 range where Pittsburgh likes to draft, man, it's thin there too. So to try and get a quarterback there, that's tough. That's why I'm saying I think they got to look at rebuilding. All right, moving on to the next game. The Chargers and Texans. I will flat out tell you, it is not what I thought was going to happen. I thought the Chargers are going to obliterate the Texans, but then the Chargers did what they do, and they chargered.
Herbert.
That's actually a very good segue, because that's another point that I told Pun over the weekend was, the teams that flamed out in Jordan Love, which we'll get to, with 3 interceptions.
Yep.
Justin Herbert with 4 interceptions. Like, these teams that think they found their franchise quarterback, it's not that easy. It's not just plug and play. You'd ask the Chargers, they have their quarterback for the future, right? Justin Herbert. You'd ask the Packers, yeah, Love is our quarterback of the future. They both just signed huge deals, and for what? So then that's the balance that you have to think about. That okay, the Steelers did this with 2 mid quarterbacks and flamed out in the first round. Well, so did the Chargers and the Packers, who both think they found their forever quarterbacks. So just because you have your forever quarterback doesn't mean that all your problems are solved.
No. Yeah.
I mean, literally,
I agree.
Justin Herbert.
That's a good take.
Through 4 interceptions, right? Three significant ones. One, I think, in garbage time by that point.
But I think that in this game specifically, I think that the Texans had a way better defense for Herbert. I think the coach D'Amico Ryans, I think he prepared the Texans for Herbert really, really great, because what is it? The Texans offense wasn't really clicking until the fucking fumble with C.J. Stroud, and he somehow found the receiver for fucking 30 yards or something like that. And it's like, after that play, the Texans took off. Before that play, the Texans were trash, I believe.
We were watching the game, and the Chargers were dominating.
Yeah.
They were only up 6-0.
Yep.
Like, in the playoffs on the road, when you have these kind of opportunities,
exactly.
You gotta capitalize.
Yeah,
yep. you gotta capitalize. Their time of possession, like the plays that they'd run, were significantly more than the. I mean, what was the score at the half?
10 to 6. 10 to 6.
Yeah, 10 to 6.
I mean, it was still very competitive at that point. And then the second half, the wheels just fall off the wagon. It's like, damn, the Chargers should have done more when they had these opportunities in the first. They could have put the game away.
Yeah,
they were dominating. And then boom, next thing you know, they're down at halftime. It's like, how did
that interception that James, they got called back. That was kind of a also hit
Derwin James
in the end
zone.
James, that was an interception, but they called it incomplete pass.
No, I think Herbert had. I think the Miko Ryans and the Texas defense had a better game plan for Herbert. They studied him really well, and of course, the Miko Ryans is the San Francisco 49ers old defensive coordinator. So I know the Miko Ryans, and I know he's really good. So I think he planned it really, really well for Herbert, and he got him good, and after the fumble from C.J. Stroud, they just took off, like, wow. But it was a good game in the first quarter, and then after that it was just all Texans. That's it.
Yeah, and I'm gonna touch on Brent's point, where that's kind of why there's the discussion of how I look at quarterbacks now differently. Brent, you're 100% right. A team can find their forever quarterback, but just because a team has their forever quarterback doesn't mean that they're elite, right? And I think like that's when you look at all the quarterbacks, like you got to start looking at them like, all right, who do we think are the elite quarterbacks in the league right now? The ones that gonna throw the team on their shoulders and carry them when the team's not performing. Who are those quarterbacks? Is there
There's probably
5 of them? Is there 10 of them?
No,
Like
No.
5.
no, there's 5. Okay, so
We thought it was Herbert, but it's not.
I would have never put Herbert in elite though. I don't know that I would have.
Well, it
ever
was
put
his.
His contract
He had the
says
coach.
He's getting paid.
He had the coach. Yeah, he had the coach now.
I still would
So
have never
he
put him
choked.
as elite.
I
Did choke.
think
He choked.
It's
He
Josh
choked.
Allen, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, for sure. Like no doubt.
Burrow.
I
Okay.
think Burrow's on the next
cusp?
level down.
Tier, yeah.
Like,
I
I'm
would
not
say
saying
Hurts-
that. I
Hurts.
think those 3 are in
Jalen.
a distinctive category of their own.
Right. Okay.
Jalen Hurts is up and coming.
Who?
Jalen.
I would put Hurts. I would put Hurst at the same level that I would put Burrow. They're right on the cusp of whatever the next tier is below the 3 that Brent discussed.
And also, you got that new rookie, man. Daniels.
I like
That
Daniels.
boy's good.
Yeah,
I like
just way too
Daniels.
early.
Exactly. Again,
Yeah.
and if you remember the podcast, our very first episode, I think I said I wouldn't be high on Stroud this year. I was like, I want to see what he looks like year 3. I expected him to regress compared to his rookie year, and he did. I like Daniels. In fact, I like Daniels a little bit more than Stroud.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd still, before I put him anywhere, I'd like to see at least 2 more years, and I wouldn't like penalize him for a sophomore slump. But I'd like to see what he looks like year 3.
Yeah,
I think
I
he's-
honestly think after that, it's for sure top 3, and then Burrow is definitely the 4th again, like just shy of elite, and then after that, like I'm not really convinced by anyone.
It's a
else.
toss up, right?
Yeah.
It's a toss up. Yeah, like that to me is that's kind of the conversation.
I guess, just statistically, you'd make an argument that Goff is up there.
I'm still not sold on Goff, man.
Well, it's
Listen.
like Sam Darnold. Like, how much of it is Ben Johnson
100%.
his OC versus how much is Goff? Like, how much of Sam Darnold's success was KOC in Minnesota? Like, if Goff goes to a place where Ben Johnson isn't his OC, So I think it's probably those top 4 with Burrow on the outside looking into those 3, but that's it.
And these are guys that have done it consistently. Like the 3 that you said have done it consistently. Goff's been doing it for a while, but he at no point in time did you ever say like, wow, Goff is, this, right? Like he's having a hell of a season this year, but again, that's this year. You know?
I mean, who else? I mean,
Stafford. I mean, Stafford's up there.
the older generation.
Yeah, I mean, he's good. He could win a Super Bowl. So yeah, I put Stafford up there with Hurts and Burrow.
Well, he's an old dinosaur.
Yeah.
I mean, the rest is what, like.
No, there's no rest. I mean, it's just
the rest is like. I mean, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, like that middle.
Baker,
class of
Darnold, Herbert, same fucking bucket.
Stroud,
Purdy.
Stroud, a young
Purdy,
addition.
Yeah.
Murray, Tua.
I think
You name
think the problem is it's once they get paid. That's why I've been so persistent in the group chat. It's like Purdy's fine when he's making $1 million a year, but once
Yeah.
250,000.
the big bucks and the rest of the roster construction has to change because of it, then that's when you have it's a different approach. But that's my thing with Herbert and Love. Like, hey, these guys got paid, so if you're going to pay them, elite quarterback money, then you expect elite quarterback production because by definition, the rest of your roster is suffering.
yeah.
Right, and that's why the whole point of, like you said, right, the top 3 that you mentioned, like they're getting paid an X amount of money, so that there's going to be weaknesses in the team, but can that quarterback make up for
Paper over
those
them.
weaknesses?
Yeah.
And the 3 that you mentioned have proven that they can, right?
Mhm.
Yep.
Purdy would never be able to do that. Tua would never be able to do that. In fact, any of the other quarterbacks you mentioned wouldn't be able to do
like
that.
no one else in the league would.
No, that's what I'm saying. No one else in the league would. And so, like, I've been using Tua as a scale, right? Like, how far away from Tua are you? And if it's not significant, then you're just as good as Tua.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that's this is the new generation of quarterbacks. Or even you say the same thing about Purdy. How much of that is Shanahan? With Tua, how much of it is McDaniel? With Goff, how much of it is Ben Johnson? You know, with Love, how much of it is LaFleur? Because LaFleur took Malik Willis, who was a cast-off, and won 2 regular season games with him after he signed with the team a week before these games.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, so there's a whole chicken and egg situation of OCs or play callers that are elite at what they do and are able to turn average quarterbacks into something more than that.
Right. Like,
or
again,
even Baker Mayfield this year with his offensive coordinator, who's getting a lot of head coaching inquiries now. Or
that was the old Atlanta coach, right?
Jaden Daniels, huh?
Yeah, the Baker Mayfield coordinator was the old.
No, it's a younger
Atlanta coach.
Liam Cohen, something like that.
Okay. I thought it was Arthur, the guy from the
Arthur Smith.
Atlanta.
No, Arthur Smith is the OC in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah,
Trash.
I think it's this conversation in the NFL, like, are there these magical coordinators that can turn the mediocre quarterbacks into above average, which they probably can, but I think they can't make them elite. They can't make that jump into the the elite level. I think if Goff makes the Super Bowl, that'll be the first time that something like that, or even people would say Jalen Hurts with Shane Steichen when he was the offensive coordinator when they went to the Super Bowl 2 years ago. Like, he hasn't really gotten back to that level like that.
Yeah. And I think, like you said, it's one of those where if you've got a quarterback who's not elite, you damn well better make a huge run and maybe even win it before you have to pay them.
Right.
Because like you said, right, like by default, the way the league is set up, the quarterback is the most important guy. And so if he's mid, you're still going to have to pay him a boatload of money. And now you're stuck paying this guy a boatload of money who isn't going to be the difference maker in where you're taking money from, other areas of your team. Now he's not going to make up for that. And so you've got like a small window. And I think that's why they tell you, right? Like, if you fuck up on a quarterback, if you draft a quarterback and you miss,
it takes you like 3 seasons. Yeah.
3 seasons to recover, because now you got to get another guy. And now you're trying to win within those 3 seasons before you got to pay his fucking ass.
And this is, to cycle back, that's what the Steelers are looking at. So like, if you do go that route, there's no guarantee of success. It's like, I signed up for 1 losing season, not 4, because we picked like the wrong quarterback. Because you picked Daniel Jones, or even when the Browns, when they picked Baker Mayfield, or even the Jets when they picked Sam Darnold. Like, when you pick the wrong quarterback, that's a real easy way to set your franchise back. It costs you your job if you're the GM or if you're the coach.
I agree with that one. All right. Let's see what's the next game. Packers, Eagles. So let's stay on the topic of not elite quarterbacks. So this is a matchup between Hurst and Love. And Love didn't come through on this one.
No, he did the same thing he's done all season, which was, throw bad interceptions.
Yeah, I think that the Packers, just to end the season with the Packers, they were just going in backwards. Like, dude, they had injuries, they had losses. Love wasn't playing good. You could tell something was wrong with him. He was injured, whatever it was. But yeah, you could tell the Eagles were the better team that game, and they have a strong defense. But yeah, the Jordan Love didn't play that good.
No, yeah, they got off to a terrible start with fumbling the opening kickoff.
Oh yeah,
like, you can't,
And then they just kept getting injured. I was like, damn, these was just getting injured.
Their offensive line lost like two starters.
Yeah.
In the course of the game,
They lost
Matt
their.
missed a field goal that would have tied it going into the half.
You know.
You know, special teams. You know, you need everything to be clicking in the playoffs, and you know they actually. I think their defense played pretty well. You know, what was? Do you have the score at the half there, Lefty?
It was 10. It was 10-0 at the half.
I mean, that's not bad. You hold the Eagles, which are supposed to be the offensive juggernaut, to 10 points.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you're in it. You know, you're right there.
Especially as the away team.
Right.
To only be down 10 at the half.
And then the Eagles are not perfect. They're not superior as they were before. You got your star player reading a book on the sideline and shit. That's a little crazy, you know.
Yeah.
But
wide receivers have shown they're a little crazy now.
Oh, dude. But yeah, the Eagles. I think the Eagles got fortunate that they played the Packers because the Packers were, like I said, they were going in backwards into the playoffs and they had injuries. So, like, I think the Eagles got fortunate on that one.
Oh yeah. Especially by the way, Hurts was 13 of 21.
Yeah,
that was not very good. By the way, a little nugget of information on that one. We were watching the game, and my niece stopped by on her way home from Texas. She stopped by here going back to California, and she was with her boyfriend, and they came and we were watching the game, and he was like, "Hey, I know someone from the Packers," and I was like, "Oh, who's that?" He's like, "Oh, I went to high school with Jalen Reed," and I was like, "Oh, what?" And he's like, "Yeah," and so he pulls out his phone, and as soon as he shows me the picture, Reed gets hurt. I was like, "Oh," and he's like, "Wait, is that Reed?" I was like, "Yeah."
What school? In LA?
No, in Chicago.
Oh, Chicago.
Chicago? Yeah, it's Chicago.
No, we can get that fact checked.
Yeah, we'll definitely get that fact checked.
No, because I know Romeo Dobbs went to Jefferson High School.
No. The kid is from Chicago. Or is it Michigan? I know that Jaden Reed went to Michigan State. So maybe it was Michigan?
No,
he's from Michigan State.
He went to Michigan State, but I don't know where he was. Where he went to high school. They went to.
I'll tell you right now.
Oh, see, no, it is Illinois because he went to high school.
Martin
in Illinois.
Luther King. Jalen Reed attended MLK Junior High School for his football prep. Reed. Okay, it says selected to the Metro Detroit Dream Team in 2019.
I got him as Naperville Central High School.
Man, who cares? Let's move on.
The point is, the kid, like, he showed me the picture, and he was like, "Yeah, this is Jaden Reed," and it was, and then he got hurt. And I was like, "Oh, oops, that sucked." Yeah, that was shitty timing. All right, the other shitty quarterback situation for the Buccaneers, Commanders and Buccaneers. We none of us saw that one coming, but boy, I did say, if the Buccaneers lose, it's because Baker's gonna Baker.
Hey man,
he didn't do anything to help him out.
That's the one that lost me the whole.
That turnover killed him.
That fumble.
Yeah.
That fumble killed us, and that also that play
snap.
where the bad snap.
The bad snap.
Those are the ones.
Just the worst timing possible, dude.
Oh yeah, that was bad. That was bad.
Yeah,
that was
bad.
That fucked up my ticket.
Like magnified to the
that sucks, Prime.
Fucked up my ticket.
Yeah, but I mean, I was like, literally, I don't know what you. It's like the center snapped it on the wrong count.
Yeah.
And then that threw off the whole play. Like, he stumbled. He gave it to the guy on the sweep, and he like bounced it off of his hip. You know, it was second and 1 at the 11.
Yeah.
At the very least, they're gonna get a field goal out of it to tie. The wheels just fall off the wagon.
Yeah.
And I don't
remind me.
Did the center say anything like after the game? Did he? I haven't. It's probably the least marquee game of the weekend. But I don't know if there's any follow up or anything that says why that came to be or how that happened.
No, I think that was overshadowed by the fact that Jaden Daniels, got the win. I think that kind of overshadowed. Yeah.
He balled out.
Yeah, a rookie QB winning on the road against a guy like Todd Bowles,
Yeah.
who's an engineer of a very, tough defense to
Good
play
defense.
against.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, he balled out,
Yeah.
Jay. Yeah, he has that Lamar Jackson type of. He's a type. He has that electrifying player. The way he moves, the way he runs, he's slippery. But I
Mm-hmm.
think he might be a better passer than Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Um.
I think he's a
So
better
yeah.
passer at this point in time in his career
Yeah.
than Lamar. I don't want
Yeah.
to discount Lamar's passing. I think he's gotten
Oh
a
no,
lot
Lamar
better.
is he's a yeah he
He,
a lot
he,
better, but
he's gotten a lot
yeah.
better. But yes, at that point in time, rookie Lamar Jackson as a passer compared to Jaden Daniels, rookie as a passer,
Oh
I agree with you 100% prime.
yeah.
Jaden
Yeah.
Daniels is a better passer at his
Yeah.
rookie age than Lamar
Mhm.
was, for sure.
Yeah, they got something with him.
Yeah, we all screwed the pooch on that one. We were not
It was
right
close
on.
though, right? It was a 3-point game.
It
Yeah.
was a 3-point game. Yes.
Doink off the field goal
Yeah, I mean,
post.
it
And,
was, we
Doink.
were, seconds away from going into overtime, where anything
yep.
can happen.
Yeah. Yeah. We all took Tampa Bay, and we all took the over, and we all.
Yeah, it was
missed that
not the
one.
shootout I anticipated.
No,
Yeah.
I agree. I thought it was going to be more of a shootout. Baker only passed for 185 yards. He didn't pass for much, which is interesting. I thought he passed for a little bit more, but he only passed for 185 yards. That was pretty interesting.
It's not that
Yeah.
easy in the playoffs.
Yeah, he stopped throwing the ball to Mike Evans, man.
Yeah, I agree. Mike Evans was balling.
He stopped throwing the ball.
He was eating Lattimore for lunch.
Oh my God, Lattimore didn't have a chance, and you're right. They stopped.
They stopped.
They stopped. Speaking of stopping doing something, was let's move on to the next game. The Broncos and the Bills.
That game.
I'll start it off.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about this game, man. Let's just
Game
move
was
on
the
to the next game.
Horrible.
That
We're
game-
freezing our buns.
That game unfolded. Though the two games I got right were the Rams and the Bills. Like those are two games that to a T unfolded just the way I expected them to. I told you didn't have anything to worry about, Lefty. The Broncos. Bo Nix is, he's not who they're making him out to be. They think they found their quarterback in the future, and I just see a lot of parallels between him and Mac Jones' first year in New England. Where, if you may recall, Mac Jones was pretty good in his first year in New England. His first year in New England, he was fine.
Like
Nix is a gunslinger. He's a gunslinger, man. So I still think
yeah, I don't know that I agree with you on that one. I think
he's
a
a gunslinger.
I think. Well, one, let's address. I'm a Bills fan, so I'm always gonna have PTSD. But I think with Bo Nix, like, I agree with Prime. He's a gunslinger, but what I think the difference between Mac Jones and Bo Nix is that, well, one, Bo Nix is an old rookie, but two, like, the mental fortitude I think is better than Mac Jones. Like, Bo Nix wasn't rattled in this game in the sense of like he fucking lost them the game. He didn't. I don't think he lost them the game.
No.
I don't think he did anything wrong to lose them the game. And one tool that he's gonna have that Mac Jones was never gonna have is the athleticism. That like Mac Jones would have never had that. He's never gonna have that. And he's not. And you saw he wasn't phased. Like they were down, but he wasn't phased. What I did think was interesting was that, like, which I'm not to take anything away from my team. I'm glad we won, and I'm glad, we did it in a convincing fashion, and that our offense did so well against a number one defense. But knowing that they've never had a 100-yard rusher in God knows how many games, Caesar, but you've got Javonte Williams, and it's like you're hitting your head against the wall. You're like, we're going to run on first and second. It's not working. It hasn't been working all game, but we're going to run on first and second, and then we're going to let Bo Nix throw. Like, that's not what I expected. I expected us to have to contend with chasing down Bo Nix a lot more. When they threw that first touchdown, I wasn't too worried about it. I was like, okay, Buffalo tends to do that. Buffalo tends to let you do what you do between the 20s in the beginning, and they always seem to make a good second half adjustment. So I wasn't too worried about that. But I thought at that point, I was like, oh, it's going to be more of a shootout. Like, you know, and then
But
they
they didn't
stopped.
score again. Right?
No,
That was
that's
it.
what I'm saying. They stopped
Yeah.
because
That was the early touchdown.
Yeah, that was it.
but it wasn't because of Bo Nix is doing. Like I think a
Uh,
couple of times he missed. A couple of times he missed. A couple of times the ball was dropped. But I wouldn't say that it was anything to say we're taking the ball out of his hand. Like you're down at one point, like 28 to 7, and you're still running the ball as if you have a Saquon Barkley where you're like, no, any minute he might break. Or a Derrick Henry, and you're like, no, any minute he might break and we're back in this game. You have Javonte Williams and you haven't been getting anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like
yeah. No,
I thought
mean,
that
to
was
me,
interesting.
Well, it's like anything. If you think Bo Nix is, do you think he's gonna break into that upper echelon of Burrow, Allen, Mahomes, Jackson?
No, I'm going to give him the same benefit of doubt that I'm
It's
giving
like, so
Jaden
then
Jaden Daniels.
what are you doing? It's it's just I think they're very happy they found this quarterback, but I don't know long term. I just looked at Mac Jones went 10-7 his first year with Patriots too. Like I just
Did you think he was going to be elite?
I think a lot of people thought that
I
he'd
never.
be better
Oh
than
hell no!
I think Bo Nix is better right now because he has his coach Sean Payton,
yeah.
and Sean Payton is an
Right.
offensive coach. What is it? This their New England quarterback that fool had Belichick as a defensive coach. So it's like no, Bo Nix is good. I think he can move up, but I don't think he's gonna be up there in that upper echelon.
Well, I
He's
think
like you
it's
said,
Lefty Left too. He's 26.
he's an older quarterback. Yeah,
How
he's an
much
older
better?
quarterback.
How much better? Is that ceiling is it leveling up
Yeah.
still as possible for a guy who's a rookie at 26?
Yeah, he's been in college for like 5, 6 years or some shit like that.
He's a super duper senior.
Yeah, for
He
real.
was a super duper senior. Again, I'll give him the same benefit of doubt that I give the rookies. Right? Like I won't put him anywhere until his third year. Right? I wouldn't be surprised if he regresses next year. That doesn't penalize him in my eyes. It's what he does in his third year. Do I think he would be elite? No, I don't. I'm not going to put him there like at all because that's just so hard to come by. Right? It's like no one thought Josh Allen was going to be elite. And for sure, no one thought Josh Allen was going to be elite in his first year, second year, for sure. He had to work his way up, right? So that's what I'm saying.
I saw like the raw talent that if everything broke the right way. I mean, he was what pick was he? What 10th?
No, I think he was he 10th?
Yeah. No, Josh Allen.
I thought he was 7th. Maybe he is.
Yeah, I mean, you don't pick someone 7th if you don't think they can be elite at the quarterback position out of Wyoming.
I agree. I do agree there. But where was Bo Nix picked?
Like 13th?
Yeah,
Josh Allen was picked 7th overall.
Yeah, see? 7th.
Which quarterback was he? Like the third quarterback, maybe? I think Bo Nix was literally the 6th quarterback taken.
And Bo Nix was 12th.
Yeah, but Bo Nix was literally the 6th quarterback.
Oh, 12. Okay.
Who were the quarterbacks picked before Josh Allen?
They all suck, don't they? Wasn't it?
What
Darnold?
year?
Wasn't it
what
Darnold?
I don't know.
Was he the Darnold year?
I thought he was.
Because that's Baker
Josh
Mayfield.
Allen was drafted.
So it was Baker Mayfield. He was first.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold was 3rd. Josh Allen was 7th, and then Josh Rosen was 10th. So Baker, Sam were ahead of him.
Yeah.
Right, and then but Bo Nix had he was the 6th best quarterback this year because it went Caleb, Jaden Daniels, the guy in New England, Drake May, Penix, J.J. McCarthy.
Oh yeah.
And then so yes, he was
True,
picked
true.
12th, but they're already looking at him. He's a sixth quarterback taken at that point.
Yeah, yeah. He was the fifth. The first one was Caleb.
Caleb.
Second one Jaden. Third was Drake May. Eighth was Michael. Phoenix. JJ McCartney was 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Wow.
Well, hold on though. Hold on.
That's a great rookie class, man.
That's
It
what
is.
I was
Rookie
going.
class.
That's what I was going to say.
Shit.
Like when you look at the front of that, like I would say that the first two quarterbacks
We're on the money.
were on the money compared to the first two quarterbacks of Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
Like like necessarily the fact that you got picked 6 when all those quarterbacks, like even Penix doesn't look bad, bro. Like even Penix doesn't look bad, and so it's like we got to throw out McCarthy because we don't know what that was going to look like because McCarthy got hurt. So,
But the floor is going to be fine because he's going to a good setup with an offensive quarterback with an offensive coach in KOC. Like he's not going to be bad. Like he's going to be he's got a high floor, low ceiling type of thing.
So okay, but like he was the 6th quarterback. Fine, let's say the 5th quarterback, right? Because we're throwing out McCarthy for now. He was the 5th quarterback taken, or whatever. Lamar was the 4th quarterback taken in the same draft class as Josh Allen, by the way.
Right.
So like, you can't knock the fact that there was so many quarterbacks that went ahead of him when literally Lamar was the last pick of the first round, wasn't he?
Yeah.
But conversely, if you're picking 32nd in the first round, it's because your team's pretty good. So if you are able to draft a quarterback and plop him down into a good organization, which Baltimore is, and they have a lot of talent and they have good structure, that was more beneficial for him to get drafted there than it was for Sam Darnold to get picked second into the shit show of the Jets.
Right, but to your statement, you said that when you draft the quarterback in the spot that they drafted Bo Nix, you're not expecting them to draft an elite quarterback.
Right, but Lamar Jackson also won a Heisman.
Still went 32nd. Like,
yeah, that's
does that mean? Does that mean they sat there and be like, "Yep, we got our elite quarterback right here at 32nd"?
Well, they didn't need to because they still had Joe Flacco.
Yeah. Coming out, didn't they win a Super Bowl
They had
2 years after this, something like that? 3 years? I know they had Flacco. I know they beat the Niners fucking in the Super Bowl, fucking assholes.
But that was like the Kaepernick Super Bowl? That Super Bowl?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, they've only been in the league, 6 years? I don't think it was that one.
Okay.
But, okay, Joe Flacco, I mean, let's not act like the reason that they won the Super Bowl was because of Joe Flacco.
I mean, he went on a ridiculous run. Those playoffs,
he did, but that doesn't mean that, like, he was the reason that they won. I mean, that defense was ridiculous, too.
Yeah, he captured lightning in a bottle for 4 games, and that was plenty.
I put Joe Flacco in the same category as, oh, congrats, you won the Super Bowl like Trent Dilfer won the Super Bowl. like that's how Joe Flacco is to me. Like,
well, I mean, okay. I think people just remember that run.
You won it there. Congrats.
Did we lose Pun? Did Pun?
Yeah, I think we lost Pun, man. I think his boss caught him working, or they caught him on the podcast. they were like, "What are you doing?" All right, so we are running long on time, so I want to hold everybody up too much. So we're gonna jump into. We went through our predictions. I think for now we'll table a question. We were going to talk about whether the playoffs are broken or not. So we're going to go ahead and bypass that. We can touch that one on the next one. Hopefully, Brent, you're able to join us on that one. So let's just jump straight into our divisional round matchups. Let's just kind of get our takes on that one and see where we're at after that kind of time. But I don't want to get too caught up on the little details for now, since, like I said, we're running long on time.
The first game, I don't think there's much to it. I think the Chiefs are going to win pretty handily. I don't think Houston's going to put up much of a fight. Mm-hmm. That's the first game tomorrow.
All right. Are you writing this shit down, Ceez? Is that what you're doing?
Yes, sir.
Do we have
Write it down.
spreads and
I do. I have the spreads and everything ready for you. So,
okay, so hit
um,
me.
so on this game for the Texans and the Chiefs, Chiefs are an 8.5 point favorite with a 41.5 total.
Uh, I'd say 21-10 Chiefs. So
So you're
under and
taking.
Chiefs to cover.
Got it. All right. Cease, what you got on this?
No, I'm gonna take the Chiefs. They're at home. They're defending champions. I'm gonna take the Chiefs. I'm gonna take them over also. 24-20.
Because that's I
Chiefs.
Oh,
took him
okay.
under.
Yeah, he
Is it?
took him.
I
Yeah,
took him under.
he took him under.
Okay, under then. 24-20.
No, 24-20 would be over. It's
Yeah,
41
you're
and a
taking the
half, right?
over. Brent took under.
Okay,
It's
okay, okay.
41.5 is the over under.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with KC reluctantly, um, only because D'Amico's got that defense playing legit right now, and the starting offense for the Chiefs hasn't touched the ball in 25 or hasn't played a game in 25 days.
Mm-hmm.
So there is something there for me. I think they're a good team, but they've had their struggles. So I think if they don't start off hot and they keep Houston around, I think it can be dangerous for them. But again, I still think KC is going to win. I'm going to take the under on this.
Okay.
I think it'll be a slow start for
What's the
KC.
final score you said?
Me or Brent?
No, you, Serge.
I'm gonna say this game is gonna be probably 24-17.
Okay.
So barely under, but it'll be under. It could
Okay.
easily be less or whatever. I think Chiefs might start off slow, and if that defense is playing solid for Houston, they'll keep it low. Um, all right.
Did they
Next,
play earlier this year? Does anybody remember?
they did. I know they did for a fact. And the Texans lost by 8, 27-19. It was at KC.
Okay. Good to know. Good to know.
hmm I'm almost tempted to take that spread, but right now it's sitting at 8.5. But that's tough. I don't trust Stroud yet. Uh, Next game, you've got Commanders at the Lions. This is an 8.5 point favorite. Are the Lions at home, and the total is 55.5.
I think the Commanders will cover.
Okay.
I think Commanders cover. I think Detroit wins. 55. I mean, that's very high for the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
What would that be like? 35.
You're looking at 35-21 to be over.
Yeah, but I think it'd be closer than that. So like 30-27, right? I think
Yeah,
30-27
30-27.
sounds about right. 30-27 Detroit.
Okay.
Okay.
So just to kind of give you some context there, it opened at Detroit being only a 5.5 point favorite. Now they're a 8.5 point favorite, which is
That's a huge
interesting.
swing.
I think it went up because the running back, what's his name, Montgomery, is coming back. I think that's gonna give him a boost. But yeah, I'm gonna take the Lions also at home. They're rested. They should win the game, but I'm gonna take the under. Um, I think I'm gonna say 555. I'm gonna say who took? I'm gonna say the same 30 to. I'm gonna say 30-20 Lions.
All right. I'm gonna say Detroit wins. it would be fun to see Washington win. But I'm gonna say Detroit wins. Um, they're going to unfortunately make Jaden Daniels look like a rookie. Um, and it's definitely going to be the under. I'm going to say it's going to be 30-17. So it's definitely going to be the under. Washington will struggle, and they're going to make him look like a rookie. But I hope it doesn't take away from how good of a season he's had. But they're definitely. I think this is where Jaden Daniels comes crashing down. Unfortunately, it's just what it is. I mean, they over accomplished a lot, and so
Yeah.
good for the Commanders. But I think Detroit moves on. Um, Ravens and Bills is the next game that they have.
That's a late game on Sunday, right?
Oh, that's right. All right, we'll jump over to the 1 o'clock. You're right. I'm going off of what ESPN has. I don't know why ESPN has above. Yeah, it's got 4:30 and then 1 p.m. That makes no sense. Rams, Eagles. Eagles are a 6.5 point favorite with the total score being 43.5. I'm gonna jump in on this. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. No,
I was gonna say I'm gonna jump in on this just because I'm happy. I'm excited to give my take. I'm taking the Rams.
Okay.
I'm taking the Rams to continue their ways. That defense, Prime mentioned it earlier, and I'm pretty positive I mentioned in the previous podcast. That defense is a little underrated. They're finally firing on all defense. Let's not forget McVay's a hell of a good coach. Let's not forget Stafford, can be a dud sometimes, but he's still a Super Bowl winning quarterback. I love Stafford. I don't care that he's older. I'm a huge Stafford fan. And I think they're just firing on all cylinders. I think Philly loses. But if Philly doesn't lose, I think the Rams for sure cover this game. But I think this game becomes an over. I don't know that it's going to stick to 43.5. I would take the Rams because that's the only way that the Rams are going to be able to cover. Like they're going to have to perform and they're going to have to just make a crucial stop at one point. And we know that they can score, right? Hell, they put up 48 and change on Buffalo. So we know that they can score. So and they're on a high, they're on a wave. I'm going to take the Rams as an upset. That's my hot take. Probably going to be wrong, but I would love it.
What's the final score you said?
For this one, I'm going to say 28-24 Rams, and the Rams will be playing the Lions to see who goes to the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Goff versus Stafford. Stafford playing his old team, who's actually now trying to get into the Super Bowl. And boy, wouldn't it be interesting if Stafford takes out the Lions from their first chance at a Super Bowl. Sorry, not Goff. I did say Stafford, right?
They were traded for each other.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But now that Stafford spent so much time with Detroit trying to get them to get better, and then the minute he leaves, it's like, really, guys? Now you get your shit together. And that would be pretty poetic. His phone died, by the way, guys. That's why Prime was not able to join us. So, again, probably not going to happen, but it's my hot take. I'm taking the Rams to upset the Eagles. Fellas, what do you got?
I'll jump in. I'm going to take, I hate the Rams. I'm a 49ers fan. But no, I'm going to take the Eagles. The main reason why is because I think they have the home field advantage. I think the weather is that it's going to snow or something like that. It's going to be cold. The Rams, of course, they play indoors. They got better footing indoors when they're outdoors in the elements in the snow.
Right.
They're not going to have that traction. They're not going to have that speed. The Eagles are still playing better. Their team is good, but it's like wacky good. Like I said, one player's reading on the sidelines. Like it feels like the receivers don't like the quarterback, but they still got Saquon, so it's like they're still good. So I'm gonna take the Eagles. I'm gonna take it. I am gonna take it over. I'm gonna say 30 to. It's gonna be a close game to me. 30-27 to me.
Okay.
I think the Eagles blow them out. I think
Ooh.
between the elements, I think the Rams are just happy to be there now after getting through the first round of the playoffs. When they started 1-4, I think they look back at this as a successful season. I don't, I think the Eagles get back on track offensively. I think it was more the Vikings beat themselves as opposed to Rams really beating them last weekend.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think traveling they have a short week, right? Because they played on Monday.
Mhm.
Traveling, as Ceez alluded to, it looks like snow and cold. It looks like it's 36 degrees.
Yeah.
They have a
Mhm.
polar vortex going through the Northeast United States
Mhm.
right now.
Mhm.
So I think pretty handily. I'd say Eagles in the over, 30-17 Eagles.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. All right. And then that leaves us with the last game. Uh, Bills and
Oof.
Ravens. The Ravens are a 1 point
Wow, one.
favorite. 1 point. It depending on what the sports book is. Sometimes it's even. It did open up with Buffalo being a favorite, and now it switched to Baltimore being a 1 point favorite. And the over under is 51.5.
Wow.
Both teams are cold weather teams.
Yep.
Uh, it is expected to be in the single digits by the time the game starts.
Single?
Single digits. That is correct. It is expected to possibly be at 9 degrees by the time that the game starts. Not a lot of snow. They're not expecting snow. It will have snowed before, um, but they don't expect snow during the game. So, um, I think I think it might be 13 degrees when the game starts, but during the course of the game, it's expected to be at around 9 degrees. And not a lot of wind either. It's about 8 miles an hour. So not a lot of wind and not a lot of snow. Um, but yeah, single digit temperatures during the game. And no safe flowers, by the way, for
I
Baltimore.
think he's doubtful, right?
No, he's
Yeah. He's out.
he's out.
Yeah. He's
Well,
out.
he's listed as doubtful, but according to Schefter, like he he was officially ruled out according to Schefter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think I'm very excited to watch this game. I do think these are probably the two best teams in the AFC. And I think it's unfortunate that it's not, the AFC Championship game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Gosh, I don't really know what to think.
It's the game of the week to
Oh,
me.
for
Shit.
sure, for
Uh huh.
sure. Uh,
Who are
you
you
know,
picking first?
it's tough because obviously the game that they had in the regular season wasn't competitive. It was
Yeah.
21-3 in the blink of an eye. So
Yep.
I don't think you can really draw a lot from that because obviously both teams aren't going to stick to their strengths at that point. You know,
Right. Mm-hmm.
I think Baltimore's probably the better team. So I think they probably win a squeaker. But then it goes into like weather.
Mm-hmm.
What's his name
They're
has been
both cold
terrible.
weather teams, though.
Justin, but like kicking, like
Oh,
Justin
okay.
Tucker hasn't been great this year.
True. True.
I don't think kicking a football that feels like a rock is going to make it any easier.
No, no.
Uh, you know,
Both kickers have been struggling, by the way, though. Even Buffalo's kicker.
24-23 Baltimore. I don't
Mm.
know where that falls on the over under.
That would be under. The over under is 51.5, so that would be the under.
Oh yeah, I think both teams are going to come out real tight. Like
Under, you say? Yeah.
this is a book of love game. This is they know what's at stake here.
Mm-hmm.
And then what sucks again is this team would then whoever wins is still going to have to go to Kansas City and try to beat them there.
Mm-hmm.
That's very daunting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. I hate that.
How many games did
Freaking
Buffalo
Casey has
lose? They lost to the
3,
Texans, Baltimore,
4,
and who
4.
else?
Uh, New England but that was the last game of the season where we didn't have any players going.
So 3 or 4.
We lost 3 with 4 total. We lost 4 total with New England being the last one.
Okay, so
we
New
lost
England,
to
Houston, Baltimore, and who else did they lose to?
the Rams.
Oh, out here.
That was that run where we put up 40. So we lost to the Rams, but we put up 40, and then we put up 40 plus, and we beat the
Lions, no?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think because I'm trying to think of like, dang, but I mean, Kansas City only lost 2, kind of under the same circumstances to you guys, and then in the last game of the season,
and then Denver. Mm-hmm. To screw over Cincinnati.
It just looks real daunting, you know? So, yeah, 24-23, so Baltimore in the under. I guess that's a push if they're favored by 1.
Yeah, so they wouldn't cover.
I'm going to take the Bills. I think they pull it off close. No, sorry, not even close. I think Josh Allen will make the difference this game. I think they are prepared for it. They know what to expect from the Ravens. And I think they just have to do is stop the run. Henry stop the run. But I'm gonna take the Bills under 30-20.
Oh,
so pretty
convincing. I pray to God that you're right. I pray to God that you're right, because I am going to be a hot fucking mess on Sunday. Yeah, it's going to be rough for me. My PTSD is through the roof. I'm freaked the fuck out, but there is a certain level of like, I wouldn't say confidence, more like I'm comforted by knowing that the fact that it's a different game, right? Like, the first game that we had, and again, no excuses, right? But we had basically 9 starters out.
Mm-hmm.
All of the middle of our defense was out. We had no linebackers. All our studs were gone. No safeties. They were gone. Josh Allen had just broken his hand, so he didn't run at all because he didn't want to hurt his hand. And then we lost Shakir literally in the first quarter. So it was just into a bad game, into a bad timing. Again, not saying that we wouldn't have lost, but I'm saying
it was 35-10, right? It was a blowout.
It was a blowout, right?
Yeah.
So again, I'm not saying we wouldn't have lost. I'm just saying I don't know that the score would have been 31-10 if we would have been where we are now in terms of health as a team and kind of how we're firing on all cylinders. And you also got to remember, we didn't have Amari Cooper. So we didn't have Amari Cooper at that point in time either. And Ty Johnson wasn't balling like he's balling now, which I think gives us another little wrinkle there. I think it's hard for me to give a prediction. I rarely ever gamble on my team. I'm always going to root for my team. I'm always going to take my team. The only thing I'm going to say is that I think if we win, this is going to be where Josh Allen puts the team on his back.
No.
Like where he
has to.
He has to, right? He has no choice. He has to. And it's that this is what's going to set him apart. The sucky thing about this is that I'm going to hate the narrative that's attached to either quarterback should they lose. If Lamar loses, it's going to be, oh, Lamar can't ever do it. He sucks. Yeah. He's X and whatever. He's lost so many games in the playoffs. If it's Buffalo who loses, it's going to be the same shit. Oh, great. They have regular season, but look, Josh can't do anything. And it's like, all right. The fact that these two teams keep playing each other and kind of in this situation, that's not fair. Like, someone's got to lose. So what's not fair is the narrative that'll come behind it. Like,
no.
That just kind of that's the part that's going to annoy me. I am a lot more confident because our run defense is back to full health. And again, that comes with our 2 starting linebackers. But the other thing is they don't have Say Flowers. Mm-hmm. So I like our corners against the receivers, which means now we can focus on Derrick Henry. Like, I think that allows us. And Buffalo has had decent success against Derrick Henry. Not necessarily with Baltimore, but we've held them to under 100 yards. I want to say in almost every game we've played him that McDermott has been around. But again, it wasn't with Lamar as his quarterback, so that's different. But I think the fact that if we can stop them and if we can jump ahead where they have to get out of the run, I think we're in better shape. But I think unfortunately it's going to be a close game, and I'm going to be freaking the hell out. I'm not going to tell you who's going to win. I hope my team wins. That's going to be my answer. I hope my team wins on that one. But I don't know that it'll be by 1 point. I will say that. Like whoever wins, I think will be like by a field goal. Like not because it's a last minute field goal, but I think the difference will be at least a field goal. I don't think it'll be 1 point. Like what a shitty way to go down by 1 point. And then to play the Chiefs. So, yeah. I'm going to be rooting for whichever one of these teams wins to win the Super Bowl, or at least beat the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Because if the Lions go, then I'm not going to root against the Lions. To get their first Super Bowl, fuck it. But yeah, man, that's where I'm at with that. With this game. So we'll see. I will be a nervous wreck.
6 o'clock your time on Sunday?
No, 4:30 my time. So it's gonna be 2:30 your guys' time.
No,
3:30 your time.
Our time. Yeah.
Oh wow, it's a lot earlier than I thought it was.
Yeah. So I hopefully I'm getting drunk because we won and not getting drunk because we lost.
Are you going to be able to watch, or when is the softball tournament?
The softball tournament's tomorrow, so I won't be able to watch any of the Saturday games.
But you'll be able to watch Sunday?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah, it's just a one-day tournament.
Worked out for you then.
Yeah, it's a one-day tournament. I know I was nervous as shit before the schedule rolled out. I was like, oh no, this is gonna suck. But no, luckily, Bills play on Sunday.
But you say you don't touch your phone during the game, right? Isn't that one of your superstitions?
Right. I don't touch my phone. That's why I said it would have sucked. Because my wife would have been watching, but she would have had to do her best and not tell me anything. And yeah, same thing. That's why you don't see me in the chat on game days, right?
I'll be talking shit in the chat.
Go for it, but I won't be answering. I won't even see it.
Knowing that you won't be watching until the end, or be reviewing it until the end.
Yeah, so I'm either gonna be like, "Fuck, Brent, you were right," or "In your face, Brent." Take that. But yeah, that'll be me. All right, so quick take. Teaser, write it down so we can kind of see it. Give me 1 or 2 or 3 players that you think will have a touchdown this weekend. And I'm gonna turn that into a parlay.
I'll give you one. I think the one that I think could probably get one and you'll probably win something is David Montgomery coming back from injury for the Lions. Why not? It's he was a goal line player. He was a good player for the Lions, before his injury. Now he's coming back. And I don't think there's going to be much. I think the money's going to be all on, what's his name, Gibbs. Yeah, so I think Montgomery has a good chance of scoring. So I'm going to give you that one, Montgomery. And with, what is it, Zay Flowers getting injured, then Mark Andrews. He's right there. So I'm going to give you Montgomery and Mark Andrews score a touchdown.
All right. Brent, give me 1, 2, or 3 players that you think are going to score a touchdown.
I'm going to go a little off the beaten path. I think Travis Kelce gets one.
Okay.
Kelce gets one in the first game. Second game, Austin Eckler.
Oh, I like that.
I'm trying to give you something that'll actually, it's easy to go with, Mahomes, Daniels. I'm trying to go a little off the beaten path. So I think Austin Eckler gets one. And let me see the next 2. AJ Brown, I think he's due. He had no game.
Yeah.
Right? He only had 1 catch, I believe.
Okay.
Before he started reading his book.
Yep.
Okay.
So let's go with Eckler, Kelce, and
AJ Brown.
Okay. All right. Eckler, Casey. Yeah, right. And by the way, I did do another one another one earlier today, and for the record, Brent, I did take Kelce as well.
There you go.
Okay.
I did take Kelsey. I did
Great
not
minds.
take. I was thinking of staying away from Montgomery, but I did say that whatever the homies chose, I would take. So I will
Okay.
take.
Okay.
You have a
So I
couple
won't.
options.
Yeah. Well, I like to do parlays. So for on this one, I'm doing what you guys said. So, um, I'm gonna take Andrews. Uh, you said AJ Brown, and then you said Kelsey, but I already took Kelsey on one,
Kelsey,
so I'm not.
Eckler, and AJ Brown.
Oh, Eckler's the other one. Ooh, this is going to be a very interesting. Why isn't it let me choose Eckler? And I'll show it on the screen right now. Are we sure Eckler's playing?
Yeah, I mean, they haven't said anything. No injuries, nothing like that.
Oh shit! All right, the odds are plus 3,400.
Yeah.
So on a $10 bet, I would win $350.
How many? How many? Three? Or did you do the ones all we mentioned?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's a 5-leg parlay.
4 leg because I didn't choose Kelsey
Okay, so it's
because I already have
AJ
Kelsey in another
Brown,
part. AJ Brown, Eckler,
Eckler.
Andrews, and Montgomery.
Okay, so 2 for me and then 2 from Ceez.
No, it's 3 from you.
Yeah, because you went AJ Brown,
Oh,
Eckler.
Kelsey.
Kelsey.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
No.
yeah,
Hopefully, we'll be cashing out.
yeah. So I'm gonna put it on here. Let me make the pick right quick. The only one I didn't include of yours was Kelsey. So I don't know if you guys can see it, but there you go, gentlemen.
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
There's Mark. There's the other,
Looks good.
and then the payout at the bottom, right there, $10,
Awesome. Well, best
350
of luck.
bucks.
I'll be
Okay.
pulling for
Okay.
those players at least.
Hey, that'll be a pretty damn cool episode on the next one if we can come back and be like, guess who won
We
the
did it.
parlay?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that'll be
think
pretty damn
obviously
cool.
Eckler's the riskiest one, but I've got some hope.
Hey, dude, you know what? I've done parlays where the motherfuckers that I thought were gonna nail it and the ones that weren't, fucking, it was the opposite. I'm like, oh yeah, these guys scored, I'm gonna hit, and then the motherfucker that was supposed to score, like
Nothing.
Barkley, would have been last week. Maybe if I would have taken Barkley. I did take Barkley last week.
Before
And
he sat down on the way.
Yeah. I do have another one. Let me see what the last one was that I didn't even look at the other parlay off the top of my head. Hold on, I'll tell you who the other touchdown parlays were. I took Kelsey to score. I took St. Brown to score. And Saquon to score.
Okay.
So that one is just plus 972.
Yeah, a little more traditional.
Yeah. So that one was that one. So we'll see how that one goes. All right, well, gents, listen up, man. I would love to keep chatting with you guys, but it is 12:10 my.
Now, so.
Yeah, it's 12:10 my side. I gotta be at the softball field at 7 in the morning tomorrow, and I'm probably there till 7. That means that I gotta get up around 6. So I gotta be up in about 6 hours. So, gentlemen, I'm gonna call it. Unfortunately, we didn't get through some of our things.
All good. Do you need me to stay on until so you can finish uploading like last?
Yeah. We always hang out just to be good. I'm pretty positive you guys will be good. We might have to have Pun or Prime jump back on later on at a different time to finish his stuff. But ladies and gentlemen, that is going to wrap it up for episode 27. I want to thank Brent Wood for making another appearance. I really do appreciate it. I actually really do enjoy having you here, Brent. You give
Thanks
us a whole different vibe, a great vibe, and a fantastic voice. I think you're made for podcast, man. I don't know.
Hopefully.
You might want to do this more often. You might want to do it more often, so I don't have to hear my voice. Ceez, as always, man, I appreciate you rocking out with us. 27
Dodgers,
episodes
baby.
in. There you go.
Dodgers, baby.
So Brent, shout us out, send us out, and then we'll move on to Ceez. What do you got to say to the people?
Nothing, man. Another great weekend of football coming up. 4 great games. A lot of positive enthusiasm going into the season. It's getting real now. As we kind of touched on, with 7 teams making it, you get some duds in the first round, but there's no duds this weekend.
There you go. There you go. Ceez, what do you got to say to the gente?
Man, same thing, man. Can't wait for football. Dodger news. You got Lakers winning tonight. Hey, it's gonna be a good weekend, man. God bless. God bless the both of you guys, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Well, folks, that's going to do it for us. Thank you guys, as always, for if you watch it, for watching it. If you don't, tell people to watch it. Or those that do watch it, tell people to watch it so that we can get some more likes and maybe see if people actually like it and we know what the hell we're talking about versus just our friends and loved ones that watch it. Also, make sure you comment on this episode so that you can convince Brent to come on more often. Hopefully,
Yeah.
him, give him some peer pressure there.
Flattery gets you everywhere.
Exactly. So, oh, you know what, Brent? Before I forget, though, oh shit, what was the? Damn it, my wife's gonna kill me.
Is this about the cat again?
No, it's not about the cat.
Yeah.
It's not about the cat. It's about your client. It was something about a letter that we had to give you because you didn't disclose of certain evidence.
What?
See,
Your client.
your
What
client
client?
Charlie. Your client Charlie.
Oh, okay.
I was supposed to tell you about, hey, we're gonna serve you with X letter. Shit, I don't know it off the top of my head, and she's asleep, so she's gonna kill me. She was like, "Fucker, I told you to tell him this." I'm like, "Shit," because remember, my wife also works in the law,
Okay.
in the legal field, so that's why I was like, "Shit, she's gonna kill me right now for not remembering." Oh well, sorry, babe. You can put it
about it next week.
Yeah, you can put it in the comments and tell him what I meant to say. There you go. He'll see it there. He'll see it there.
Make a TikTok video and we'll see it there. All right.
Yeah, we'll see it after the 19th.
Yeah, we'll never see it. It'll go into
We'll see it after the 19th. And last but not least, shout out to my little daughter. Happy birthday to my little one,
Yes,
Elena.
for sure.
Happy 9th birthday. I don't know that you'll ever see it or that I'll let you watch this. But hey, you never know. You'll be old enough one day eventually. If our government doesn't eventually ban YouTube somehow for whatever. All right. Well, guys, that's going to do it. As Ceez always says, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Right? Let these three old men know that, they're doing a decent job. All right, guys. That's wrapping it up.
Everyone, take care.
Love you guys. Deuces. Big shout out to Hometown, California. Everyone be safe. Love you guys.